Hey everybody, I just wanted to go over my bow build for the Rogue in Diablo 4. My items are right now. The barrier on the chest is incredibly helpful. Kind of wasted my money on upgrading that. On the gloves, but no matter. But we'll breeze through this real quick. That's not really important. This is also incredibly helpful to get the unstoppable. I do not have a lot of defensive options. Actually, I have none other than the items. This helps me with damage, which is huge. And, a couple more of the damaging ones. And as you could tell, this one's also something I screwed up by wasting the money to upgrade into a legendary, but whatever. I use preparation because I like to use my ultimate and my abilities a little bit more frequently. Starting at the top, we are going down the marksman tree. We use forceful arrow and we want that to make them vulnerable. We have rapid fire for single target and enchanted barrage or barrage for the multi-target when I'm getting overwhelmed by quite a lot of enemies. You'll see me whip that out, and then rapid fire will be more for single target, mowing them down. It's kind of like a machine gun, super fun. Getting the increased crit is very nice as well. Do not use these skills, but I do use weapon mastery because, again, if I'm using a crossbow or a bow, getting the bonuses there are incredibly helpful. Nothing into penetrating shot, don't really use it because I just felt like it was a little bit redundant. But exploit is incredibly helpful as well, a lot more just pure damage. And then here's where it gets a little bit fun. The poison is what I use in addition to my single target skill, and then shadow imbuement I use with my multi-target skills. So one of the things I like to do is use the ultimate with shadow imbuement. And I use the giant arrow storm, as you'll see in a little bit. Right here, rain of arrows. So what that does, the knockdown is incredibly helpful as well, but if you just wrapping it up here, precision is what the last thing you need to do. You can also do, I believe, victimize as well. Same thing with the ultimate. You can also do probably the shadow clone, but I just wasn't feeling it. It kind of reminds me of the Valkyrie. But let's get into this fight and break it down. So as you can tell, I started with the poison imbuement, and then I used my single target skill, kind of like that multi-shot of arrows right there. Unload on him. It does a lot of single target damage. The key thing with this build is you're going to have to get distance. You're going to have to dodge a lot. I am not great at dodging, so you'll see me get hit a lot. And, sometimes when you get CC stunned or CC locked, it can get a bit ugly. So this could have been a big fuck up right there. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but I did use my rain of arrows, which I will use it again later on. And so what I like to do is I used to light this right there for a second. But what I like to do is I like to use the shadow imbuement, rain of arrows, and generally they'll kill most of the enemies that are out there. As you can tell, this does a lot of damage. I am not fully through with the game or anything like that, so this is by no means best build or optimal build, but this is just for fun. So for more casual players, if you want to explore it, I have been finding that this is a really fun build. I'm building up, I'm waiting, I'm just kind of stalling till I can get my rain of arrows. As you can tell, I'm going to hit triangle, or I already hit triangle, to get what I call the death wave going. Line up the death wave, and as you can tell, it just obliterates everything. If anything is still left, that is when I use barrage. Barrage with the second charge of the shadow imbuement will cause them to explode when they die, and if they haven't died from the wave of arrows, the death wave as I call it, they absolutely will die and explode from your barrage. When there is a big wave, it gets me out of so much trouble. And then all I do is I pop that square button, as you can tell right there, pop it, and get your poison imbuement, and then just start unloading on the bosses. This boss was a little bit tough for me, I won't lie. With it constantly bringing out new enemies, and the constant CC lock, the constant gap closing, it was a little bit tough. But as you could tell, even though it was tough, I still shred it. What most fights generally become for me with this build is I either obliterate them and I kind of one-shot the bosses pretty quickly, and I don't end up using many potions at all, and I kind of end the fight with full potions and then a couple extra potions on the ground, or I end the fight with about one potion on the ground, or one or no potions on the ground, and maybe I'll be at like 3 or 4. Rarely it'll be like 2 or 0. Those are very clutch situations. This one was relatively close to that, I believe. But as you can tell, finished it off. 2 legendary drop, very, very nice. And just a very fun build. I highly recommend you test it out. If you want to try Rogue, this is it. Enjoy.